If you are one of those people who are anxious about what is happening as roads are changing, industries are restructuring, jobs are being lost, maybe you are employed, you are over 40, over 50, and you are anxious about your future in this fast changing world, stay with me, because today the message is very simple. I see something rich, powerful, and more meaningful as these changes are challenging or inviting us to be more human than right now. Stay with me. I'm Linda. I'm sharing this because I've been where you are. When I left my 9 to 5 job, having had a title of being a lawyer, a former teacher, an advisor, I woke up and all that was gone. There was no title. And today I am sharing you how I was invited to ask relevant and meaningful questions just about myself. I couldn't see the future. I was inadequately prepared for the new chapter in my life. And I had to ask, who am I now that these layers have been peeled? I had to jot down the things that had mattered to me even when I was a child, my experiences. I jotted that down. I jotted down the disappointments. I jotted down how my life was turned upside down when I was a final year law student and my husband died in a car crash. My world was turned upside down. I jotted that down. And you know what happened? I then began to realize that the life I had lived was not in vain, that I had gathered the raw material that I was assembling to actually open a new chapter of being an entrepreneur, a new chapter of being a consultant, a coach, a mentor. Today, it's history. I do not have anxieties about the future, about where the income is going to be coming from. I did not start from scratch and feel empty after detailing everything that I could remember about myself, and the fact that I happened to have been a go-to person and people would come to me for help. I would handle cases pro bono and they were still coming to me for advice. Then the penny dropped. That is where the answer is. That is who I am. That is who I am becoming in my new chapter, to be a coach, to be a person who is a go-to person because of a rich experience, a go-to person because I could give direction even to organizations that I had served free of charge. But now there was a realization that I could then package programs that would also bring fees, that I wouldn't be just trading time for money, that I would also be making a contribution, despite the fact that I no longer had the titles that I've just shared. I mattered. There was a contribution I could make, not just to myself, to my family, but to the community I continue to serve. I started feeling very free. And I also reminded myself that, after all, if we are talking about titles, job titles, lawyer, teacher, manager, executive, those are roles. It became very simple. Oh, yes, you've been playing that role. You can still play another role. And I am enjoying this because it is not just book knowledge. I lived through this experience, and I do hope that you are going to stay with me for the next 5 minutes so that we reach the end. And obviously, I am going to be leaving you with something to do. All right. As I indicated, I was not adequately prepared. There was no hope that every month there would be a paycheck or a transfer into my account. I was anxious about many things. But what happened was that the more I became anxious, it's the more I couldn't actually make a breakthrough and feel relaxed. But the moment I accepted that I had been playing these roles, that I still had a role to play and I still had a contribution to make, judging from the approaches I was relaxing, I became comfortable. I started trusting the process. I was no longer fearful, anxious, tense with those mental knots. No, I simply looked at the fact that the raw material, the experiences I had lived, made me rich. They made me wealthy. I was in a position to take inspired action. I was in a position to design a simple system and choose where I wanted to start going forward. And then I accepted that there were skills I needed to learn. So I registered for a 12-month course with Modern Wealthy. Although it was costly at that time, but the program was challenging, enriching, and it pointed me in the right direction. I grew. I became part of a community. We shared information. We encouraged one another. And I started enjoying the journey, enjoying it to such an extent that when the program ended and we were then encouraged to edit videos, that was a nightmare because I had never ever made a video in my life and I was very uncomfortable just to communicate in front of a camera. I'm sure that I must have started more than 100 attempts and I would delete and start. And I just felt uneasy, uncomfortable, embarrassed to be talking in front of a camera. I had never done it. I had been this conservative professional, a lawyer. But gradually, I relaxed, I shared my fears, and it turned out that I was not the only one, that a number of people had gone exactly the same route. If you were to visit the first videos I made, they are awful, but I was encouraged to continue, to keep on making these videos, and I was assured that I would improve with time. And today, here you are. I am talking to you. I am sharing this experience. Maybe you are in exactly the same situation, and the message is, go for it. Continue to make videos, and you do not need to even think about being perfect. There is nothing like that. Just continue making videos, continue communicating with us, and I continue to communicate with you. I am not where I would like to be, maybe in a year's time. However, it is enriching, it is nourishing that I can share this message. I can share my lived experience with you. Stay with me until the end. So, what am I saying to you? I am saying we are celebrating an invitation to be more human in a machine era. And the challenge is very simple. Even if you are retired, the fact that you can now do something from home means a lot. You don't have to drive to work, to go to the office. We are blessed actually that we have evolved to such an extent that we can connect with one another globally. We can be of value and contribute our wisdom, our experience, sitting in a quiet corner, in a lounge. That's where I'm sitting, for instance, and I'm communicating with you. That is a celebration. What that teaches us is that we are being encouraged to manage the machine and being human, to marry this and to be aligned to the current realities that there is no going back. But the question is, how do we add value to ourselves? Forget about the shiny objects. Forget about the noises out there. Forget about geopolitics. But who are you? Peeling everything. Don't you realize that you are rich with experience, wisdom? You are rich with so much. All that I'm inviting you to do is to share that with other people. It's to realize that what matters now, what is of value, it is you, the authentic self, without all the trappings of society, the titles, all the social standing. What matters, it's you. And when that happens, it is liberating. I need to say this. Your health, physically, mentally, spiritually, is very important. It is essential actually, because that is where the alignment with your inner being comes. When you are aligned, when you are comfortable, when you are comfortable with who you are becoming. I don't know what you are becoming. What I do know that when I became comfortable with who I was becoming, this entrepreneur who had a contribution to make, this entrepreneur who was rich with experiences, and this entrepreneur who was bursting with the energy to share and actually turn her experiences around to actually bring income without a title, as long as you bring income because you have something of value to offer. A sky is the limit. That is the homework I'm leaving with you. I am challenging you to jot down at least 3 things. Ask yourself this question: who am I? Jot those dots and choose one thing. Start tomorrow. Choose one thing that is close to your heart and design a system to pursue that one thing. Design a system. Tell yourself that every morning, even if it is boring, you are going to remind yourself that you have committed to pursuing this one thing, that you have committed to sharing with a trusted person your commitment to this one thing. That's important. Put together a system in the morning, preferably in the morning, before you are sucked into a noisy world that demands, it may be children, grandchildren, you name it, just the first hour to your time. Please remember, when you wake up, for health purposes, could you hydrate? Just drink 2 glasses of water before that lovely cup of coffee that I also love. And then another important thing, this health for me has become very important, by the way. Get your body to move. I learned to even get my body to move when I prepared coffee. I did stretches for 5 minutes. One thing led to another. I started walking, and now I walk every day for 5 kilometers, and I love it. So remember to like this video, and do remember to subscribe so that I just want to grow this community, and I do need people to subscribe. I hope you find something of value, and I look forward to being with you in the next video.